Sure. Hi, Gregor. How you doing?
I'm very well, Andy. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Firstly, can I just get your reaction to the news? The Fiji game next week is cancelled. Obviously, a blow for the tournament and for you guys, I'm guessing.
Yes, no, it's disappointing to have heard that news. We just spoke to our players at the end of the training session today that announcement was going to be made. So you could tell the players are disappointed. One less game to play for their country, and we knew that certain players were going to get opportunities next week because of what they've done in training, and also the fact it was going to be a 6-day turnaround after our game against France. So that will no longer be the case, unfortunately.
You're on a good run at the moment, 5 in a row. 6 in a row would represent a little bit of history. First time that's been done since 1990. I know the mantra is often you take every game as it comes and try not to get too bogged down in these kind of things. But when there's a little bit of history to be made like that, is it something that you try and tap into and embrace?
No, I don't think the winning run is something we've talked about or in our minds. It's really the opportunity of winning this weekend will present. Now mean that we make into the final. Should be fantastic for the players. And someone put their mic off.
I'm getting a real bit of feedback when I'm talking.
I think one of the Scottish Rugby has, yeah.
Sorry, I completely lost you there, Gregor.
Oh, sorry.
I think
ask again.
Sure.
I'm giving real feedback. You know what?
Yes.
One of the Scottish Rugby accounts is still unmuted.
Can you mute
Your accounts, guys.
Yeah, mine's muted.
Okay.
Right, we'll go again. Gregor, I know the mantra is often one game at a time, but there's a little bit of history that can be made this weekend. Do you try and channel that at all and use that as an opportunity?
No, the opportunity is about winning this game and what that would bring for this group, which would mean that we'd get into the final and play for first and second in a couple of weeks' time. So it's out there. We know what a challenge France are going to bring. One of the best teams, if not the best team in the world right now, and that's all we're thinking about.
Thanks, Gregor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Greg, we think back to that performance in March, and there was maybe, and from onlookers, a bit of a focus on the red card and the way that influenced the game. Is proved that performance and that result is something that Scotland can replicate. That essentially that result was no fluke against a team in France who have won so many admirers this year.
Yes, we played well that day, and we were playing well before the red card. I think we went 6-0 up, and we're getting into our groove in attack and defence. It was a really good game. I think the red card probably led to France attacking more than they have in other games. It was the lowest they'd kicked all year, which can pose you more problems. But I felt we took our opportunity just before halftime. And I think a few minutes after halftime, and that gave us obviously just a bit of breathing room on the scoreboard, and the players managed the game really well after that. We could have done better. I think we had opportunities we missed late on in the game to get another try, but it certainly was our best team performance of the season or the year, especially in defence.
I know the Fiji constellation has come, very recently, but how will your plans change for this week off? Is essentially it's going to be now. What are you hoping to do with the players?
Yeah, well, we just started those discussions about an hour ago. I chatted with our leaders. We've chatted as a coaching group this morning about what that now means for our build up to the final weekend. And we'd obviously like to carry on being together, but we'll just see how we manage that, whether it's a few days off and come back in, or staying for a couple of days and giving guys some time off too. That's important because we've been together now for almost 7 weeks. But it is a change of plans. It was a 6-day turnaround. It was going to be an intense week of training going into that Fiji game. So now we have that 2-week build up to the finals weekend.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Andy Newcomb.
Hi, Gregor. Looking at the French 15 that they've named as pretty fully loaded, is that pretty ominous for you guys, or are you happy to be taking on that full strength team?
Yeah, I don't know if happy is the word, but you want to play the best teams, and when they've got everybody available. This weekend we were due to play New Zealand before the world all changed, and normally when you play New Zealand, they're ranked 1 in the world, certainly in my experience. And now we're getting the opportunity to play France, who have been the best team in the world in terms of results since the World Cup. So you want to see where you are. You want to take on the best teams because the wins are even more special when you can record them. So they've certainly created a real focus and edge at training. It feels like a proper Six Nations game this week, even though it's Autumn Nations Cup, because of the fact that France are playing so well and they've brought their best players.
You've obviously named Matt Ferguson at number 8. Is that a position that nobody, or you're really looking for somebody to step up and claim as their own? You obviously sort of chopped and changed that over the last few games.
Yeah, it's a position we've got, I think, 3 players in the squad, 4 probably, with Nick Haining also being able to play, and 6, and Cornell Dupree, Blake Thompson, who's played the last 2 games, and now Matt. So we've got some players challenging for that position. Matt started against Georgia, picked up an injury, has done really well to come back, and was available last week after a full week of training. But we see him now getting this opportunity. We've been pleased with how Blade's played. Thought Blade in both his games has been involved more and more, especially in the last 20 minutes of the Italy game. He was excellent in defence. So now it's up to Matt to show what he can do. He's been in excellent form for his club, and he works really hard in attack and defence, and we'll need that from him this weekend.
Cheers, Gregor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Mark, have you got a question?
Yes, I have. Can I just go back to the 6 test wins in a row, if you don't mind? Were you worried at any stage that all the sort of hype about it might be a little debilitating, might be a little sort of take the focus off? Was there any stage where you thought, I wish people would just sort of keep quiet about this now and let's carry on with working towards the France game?
That's a tough question to answer because we've never mentioned it in any of our meetings or coaches. I can tell you whether the players talk about it. We obviously know there's been momentum building, and that's a good thing to have as a team, that you have the confidence of winning and you feel like what you're doing is during the week is leading to victories. But we're playing a very good side this weekend who will challenge us in all sorts of areas. So we've got to be at our best, and we've got to be our best for 80 minutes. And the challenge and opportunity this game provides is massive. So whether it was on the back of 6 defeats, 1 win, no wins, it's a great game for us to get stuck into.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, we'll now move on to the 10 p.m. embargo section, please.